tunnel I briefly mentioned earlier. You can see the endpoint right now. Off to the right, you see a circus tent looking building right in the middle of the river, not the river, this is the lake, out in the middle of the lake. And that is called a water crib. That sucks in the water over there, brings it all the way out here. Incredibly quick rate. Every 3 days, they add a new floor to that building. So it has been wild to see the building grow and grow and grow and just spring up throughout the season. And it's part of a two-part building structure. It's going to be pretty cool. I saw some concept art. But off to the left, where you see all those buildings, the first ones, 20 years ago, that was a 9-hole golf. And she loves the Great Lakes, and she loves bringing that into her architecture. And so that building curves and moves along with the lakes and rivers and waterways of the Great Lakes. And so we started running guns up and down the Great Lakes coast with the eventual goal of making it down to South America. And if you look off to your right, you're going to see exactly how far he made it, because he almost immediately crash landed into this area called Streeterville today. At the time, it was rubble, it was trash, it was mostly landfill, and he looked around and he said, you know what, this is good enough for me. And he started his own little shanty town, he started his own little red light district, he forged some documents saying that this area was not part of Illinois or Chicago.
In a style we call contextualism, which celebrates and embraces the idea that buildings don't go up in a vacuum. They go up in cities, in neighborhoods, they have surroundings, and the building should be in conversation with those surroundings. In this case, she was inspired by aquatic features of the area nearby, so the 6 shades of green glass that make up the facade of the building, along with those curvy-looking edges, are meant to make you think of the water of the Chicago River located down below. This is the first of many super tall structures that I'll share with you here this evening. With a super tall structure, you're going to deal with super strong wind, especially right here off Lake Michigan. So I'll point out how some of these tall buildings, piers and counterweights on either side of the river that raise the bridges in the middle and lower them back down. Originally, that was for industrial boats to pass between the lake and the river. Nowadays, mostly goes for sailboats. Up in front of us on the right-hand side of the river, you will see a white building with that clock tower up there at the top. That is the Wrigley Building. Wrigley Building was completed in 1924, and when it opened, it was the headquarters of the Wrigley Company. William Wrigley made his millions. Alrighty, back to the buildings. Over on your left, you got this building with the 2 smokestacks up on the top. This is the old Union Station power plant. Union Station is a little bit closer to the center of town. It's our big Amtrak and Metro hub here in Chicago. This building used to provide electricity for Union Station. This was a coal-burning power plant. At some point around the mid-70s, they realized that burning coal downtown was not a fantastic way of creating electricity, but it was an A-plus way of giving everyone empathy. So they turned the building off, and since then it has been falling apart onto itself. That's a little bit hard to see at night with the building, and it made their migrations significantly shorter. So to help our avian neighbors get to where they're going, 311 South Wacker, along with other buildings nearby, dim the lights throughout the spring and fall. Over on the right-hand side of the river, you'll see another Art Deco building. It has those vertical racing stripes made by the inset windows into the facade. Leading your eyes up to that statue on the top of the building that looks a bit like the Oscar Award. That is the Chicago Board of Trade Building. The statue up top was done by John Storrs, and it is of the Roman goddess Ceres, who was the goddess of the harvest. And the first thing they traded on those trading floors, Dad worked, that's where he watched the parade from, and it was used as that filming location only months after construction was completed. Down along the right-hand side of the river is the Chicago Riverwalk, which is this pathway that's following the river's edge. The Riverwalk was part of Daniel Burnham's plan for Chicago. He thought Chicagoans should and would want to have access to their river. It would take us over 100 years to make the Riverwalk a reality. This section was completed in The entire facade of this building is about 2 acres large. That's just the front of the building that you're looking at. That is 2 walls. True story. I was given a tour this summer. Adrian Smith's daughter was on my boat, and after the tour she came up to me and said, "He's 5'10". Alrighty folks, we're going to make our final...